Hi, Michael here with the Makeup Light. Today we're going to be talking about the wall installation of your new Meira LUXe. And it's an easy process. There's an amazing set of instructions included. You just need a few tools. You may want to bring a buddy along. The panel does weigh a little bit, so if you feel more comfortable with someone helping you, please do that. But we're going to walk through this. Let's get started. So the first step is determining the height of your mounting bracket. How high off the ground you're going to mount your Meira LUXe. Well, I'm mounting this for a client, and we determined that she would like this mounted where when she walks up to the Meira LUXe, she's centered in the mirrored area of the LUXe. So I can take my bracket knowing that the top of the mirrored area of the LUXe is about 1 inch above where this bracket is. And then the top of the actual physical frame is 6 inches above that, and then 18 inches down is the bottom of the Meira LUXe. So I know that when I place this on the wall, that the mirrored area is here, the top is here, and 18 inches down is the bottom. And now it's perfectly centered for my client. So now that I've determined where I'm going to mount this bracket, I'm going to address the wall. And on this wall, I've marked where a couple of the studs are actually going to be in the mounting process. And on the bracket, you're going to see multiple holes. And typically, you want, if you can, use at least one of those holes to go into one of the studs. If not, don't worry about it. We've included 4 sheetrock anchors to put in there, so it will be plenty sturdy. So I'm using the bracket, a torpedo level, and a pencil. So I've already given myself a little mark right here to know the height, and I'm using my torpedo level and making sure that I'm in a level position, just like that, and they are lining up with a couple of the studs. So I'm going to mark where the studs are through these holes, and there are 4 mounting positions in the bracket. So I'm going to take advantage of all 4. So now that I have marked the wall where I want to pre-drill, I have a little tiny drill bit in my drill. I'm going to pre-drill to make sure I've hit a stud where I believe there is a stud. And you can feel the resistance in it. And if you look very closely, you'll see actually sawdust on the drill bit. So I know I was correct. There is a stud here. So I do not need to use a drywall mount here. I can just use a normal screw to anchor this guy in there. So now I'm going to pre-drill the next hole. I do not believe there is a stud in this wall right here. I'm going to line it up. No resistance. It just goes, once it punctures through all your drywall, it just goes in. And I know it's only sheetrock on this drill bit, and there's nothing, there's a void in this space. So here I will be using a drywall anchor. I hit the stud on that one. And that one again, a void. So now I know I'm going to be going into a second stud, and I will be using the drywall mount there. So the first mounting item I'm going to use is the drywall mount. I found 2 studs. That meant there are 2 other ones that require this drywall mount. So it's a simple process. I find the hole that I have pre-drilled. I line this up to it, and then I'm going to have to hammer it in a little bit. You just want to get it started, and then I'm going to take a screwdriver, and it's going to actually screw itself in. Why we love these mounts. That is now flush to the wall, and then this screw is going to go into there, split that apart inside, and it's going to be a really strong mount. So now that I have holes drilled, drywall anchors placed, now it's time to mount the actual bracket. I typically will start in the middle, and I'll show you why in a minute using the torpedo level. So I will take the center hole. I know that's where it had lined up at. So I'm going to line this back up, and I'm just going to finger tight this, putting this in place. That's the center. Make sure that, oh, that is the right one. All the other holes are lining up now. So I have my drill, and I'm going to just gently tighten this down. And you do it in the center because you want that little bit of movement, because now we're going to move on to the next step. So now that I have the center mounted, I'm going to use a torpedo level, and I'm going to use, what you want to look at is this center bubble right here. And they call it a torpedo level because it's like a little torpedo and it's a little pocket-friendly guy. You've got right angles and 45-degree angles. We're using the horizontal bubble level in the center. I'm going to place it on the top of the bracket and line it up. You want to get it between the two black lines. That means it is level. And then I'm going to start this screw. And then I'm going to use my drill, get this anchored, and then move on from there. So now that I've installed the center screw and one end screw, I want to confirm that we are actually still, in fact, level. So again, I'm going to take my torpedo level, place it on the bracket, and I'm going to look and say, yes, that is level. And now that I've confirmed that's level, you can make sure this is tight, the center one is tight, and now move on to the next two screws. So now that we've placed the bracket on the wall, we're going to place the Meira LUXe onto that bracket. And we're going to do that by utilizing the little clips that are on the end of the bracket. They fit into these little louvers on the back of the actual Meira LUXe. And there's, I think, 5 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but we're only going to use the ones on the end. The other 2 are basically for heatsink purposes. There are 4 screws you'll see located on the back of the Meira LUXe. That's if you're going to use the table mount. But since we are wall mounting it, we're going to lift this up, place it onto the clips like a French cleat right into these louvers. Before I mounted this on the wall, I placed these red arrows on tape, both on the Meira LUXe and on the wall, to help me line up the bracket and the louvers on the back of the Meira LUXe, since I was especially doing this by myself. It's a lot easier with somebody else, but since it was by myself, I put these guides on there to really give me a quick assist. Now that you have successfully wall mounted your Meira LUXe, you're just going to need to plug it in to get power to it. And in the box came this big thing. And you're like, holy crap, that's a big power supply. But what's inside of it, it's all custom for us. It's the driver, it's the remote sensor, it's the color tuning device in there that all has to work together. So we encapsulated it into one large housing for you to keep it safe. The only other item you're going to need is the remote control, this little guy. So find it in the box. It's already paired to your light and it's very easy on, off, dimming, and you can change color. Pretty amazing. This is 2800 degrees, and at a flick of a button, I can go back to 5200. So thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, give us a shout.